The Hunger Games have been loved since the first book came out in 2008. So of course, fans are going to have their own theories. Let's look into some of those. So the first one we've got is that Peter is the real Mockingjay. So many fans believe that Peter, rather than Katniss, is the true symbol of the rebellion. His role as the boy of the bread and his mental struggle during his time in the capital mirrors the emotional toll of war. His relationship with Katniss serves as both a propaganda tool and a genuine emotional connection, making him an ideal symbol for the revolution. This is an interesting one, because Peter does get obviously indoctrinated, unfortunately. He obviously goes through torture and all sorts of nasty things, and then becomes almost a weapon for the capital. I understand what they're saying around his mental struggle, but also he's got an emotional connection and things like that. But I'm not sure if I agree that he really is the real Mockingjay. I think the Mockingjay needed to be someone who was strong, to an extent sometimes ruthless, but also with a heavy emotional capacity. Peter could control his emotions a lot more, I feel, than Katniss could, and I think that she was maybe a little bit on the edge of always having an emotional blowout. That's how I perceived her anyway. And I think they needed that as a Mockingjay. I think they needed someone who they know was emotionally charged, whereas Peter, for me, is emotionally competent. He's really able to compartmentalise things, whereas Katniss really is like 0 to 60 with stuff. So for me, I don't agree with that one. But let's see what else fans think. So Katniss and the capital are connected genetically. Some fans speculate that the exceptional survival skills of Katniss, paired with her uncanny ability to inspire people, could be the result of genetic experimentation by the capital. The idea is that she might be a part of an experiment designed to create the perfect revolutionary symbol. This one doesn't make sense. Why would they create something with the pure intention of destroying themselves? It just doesn't figure out in my head. I get if they were creating weapons in the form of people in the capital to keep the rebels in line, they're creating their own, like I said, well, their own weapon. But to create someone, to then put them in the districts to be like, hey, come and try and take us down, it just doesn't really work for me. I don't really understand that one. I don't think that is a legit thought, I'll be honest. I don't think that's real. I can't get behind that fan theory. Finnick and Annie's baby was the first real victory of the revolution. After the events of Mockingjay, Finnick and Annie have a child. Some fans believe that this child represents the true hope for the future, a symbol of the new, peaceful society they are fighting to create. Finnick and Annie's love story, filled with tragedy, symbolises the end of the capital's reign and the possibility of a better future. That is quite a nice one. So even though Finnick does die, Annie has her baby, and I think it is kind of like a new start, new life, rebirth, all that sort of stuff. And it happens, she gives birth after everything's gone down. Can't remember now actually, but I'm pretty sure that after the war's ended, she's then got her baby, and it does, especially for her as well, it's a new start, it's a new beginning. So yeah, I like this one. I do really think that it was a real victory. It's really nice for Annie to have her child, but like I said, it's a sign of rebirth. So yeah, that one I can get on board with that one. The capital is based on real world governments. Some fans believe that Suzanne Collins was inspired by past and present political systems to create the capital. This theory suggests that the capital's exploitation of districts parallels historical empires that oppress colonies for resources. It raises questions about the role of power, media manipulation, and wealthy disparity in modern societies. I think the phrase "write what you know" could be applied here. So I'm not saying that, she lived in a district and the Hunger Games, that she lived through that. But obviously you draw from real world experiences, or things that you've witnessed, things that you've heard about in the news, things you were taught in school. I could 100% believe that she may have drawn on events from history and just emphasised on them and embellished them, so they are way more shocking than they originally were anyway. So yeah, I think this one you could say is true. I think it's easier when you write something to write with a basis of truth and then add a lot more on top, and all of a sudden then you have something so horrific but with an element of truth behind it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think this one could actually be true. And the last one we're going to look at today is that District 13 is the real villain. So there is a darker theory that District 13, though portrayed as the resistance, isn't completely the good guy here. The theory suggests that District 13 may have manipulated the rebellion on its favour, knowing they would eventually need to take control after the capital fell. Their strict totalitarian society could have just been as bad as the capital, but in a different way. So I did a video called What Caused the First Rebellion in the Hunger Games, and I do actually talk about District 13 in that video, so do definitely go and check it out. District 13 don't come across as the good guys, unfortunately. So I could believe that they maybe thought, right, let's start this and then we'll go underground and we'll be fine and we'll just leave everyone else to suffer. So District 13 was the primary weapons supplier. So of course they had the means, they had the knowledge as well to create more weapons, but they also went completely underground and let everyone think that they'd been wiped out whilst they were creating this rebellion, and everyone else in the other 12 districts was suffering. So I think in that sense they are a villain. If District 13 had taken over, I think we got a small snippet of what that would have been like when President Coyne wanted to continue the Hunger Games, or have at least one more game using the capital's children. I think she very much would have used punishment and revenge on the capital, much like it was used on the districts, which two wrongs don't make a right, we know that. But yeah, I do think they were the villain here. Definitely not good by any means. Anyway guys, that's all I've got for this video. Check out the playlist if you want to see any more Hunger Games videos, and until next time, you take care.